Jai Gurudev, good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to yet another session of SSU Talks, where we are intrigued to know about the different subject matters in conversation with our experts, shedding their knowledge and insight on the topics. So I am Disha Sinha, your host for the day, and with me here is a very eminent personality, the Dean of Faculty of Management Studies, Professor Dr. Biplab Biswal. Sir has more than 27 years of experience in this field. Alongside, Sir has been awarded with innumerable awards. To name a few, let me just tell you. The Most Admirable Global Indian 2022, Intellectual Year 2021, CSR Eminent Director of Leading Institute Asian Achievers 2021. Jai Gurudev sir, thank you so much for taking your time out for this session. So moving on, today we will delve on a very important topic which is a sensation right now, which is digital disruption and examining its profound impact on employment trends. So sir, let's not delve more into this session. So let me just ask you the first question which is there in my mind, understanding the subject matter itself. Okay. So my first question to you is, how do you define digital disruption and in the context of modern business education?
Well, out of our fear of technology, or maybe because we are not aware of the technology, we are saying a digital disruption, but I would rather prefer to use the word digital transformation, which we have used during Industrial Revolution 3. So what has happened, the fourth Industrial Revolution has been named as digital disruption. Now, I will tell you the reason behind it. Now, up to now, the human race has gone through four major industrial revolutions. So the first industrial revolution was all about mechanization. So we started creating machines which could do heavy work which human hands cannot do. So mechanization was the first industrial revolution. We started making machines which could do heavy work. Then when we did machines, initially we were using fossil fuels or compressed energy. So there was a limitation of that particular machine, that it will start at a place and the fuel runs out and it stays. But we wanted continuous production. So in the second industrial revolution, we invented electricity. So that was the age of mass production. So the same machines which we have invented in Industrial Revolution 1, we connected it to a very sensible or a continuous power source in Industrial Revolution 2, and we started producing more. So that was the mass production. In third Industrial Revolution, we realized that continuous connection to power leads to a lot of hazardous things like accidents or overconsumption of electricity, machines running out or depreciating faster. So we wanted to control the machine. That means essentially we wanted to create a communication bridge with the machines. So there where electronics and telecommunication came in. So that was Industrial Revolution 3. Now computer, which were invented basically as a device to interact between the man and the machine. When internet came, then all the game changed. And typically when smartphones came and big data companies like Google, IBM, Microsoft came in, who could identify that every human behavior is a data and gather those data points. So they could create technology which could predict your buying behavior. So one interesting thing I can tell you, that today if somebody asks Google about Diksha Sinha, Google knows better than you about yourself, because you may have forgotten what you have done in last 1 or 2 years, but Google remembers. For till the time from when you were using Android phone till that, or Apple phone till that, now the Apple and Google knows you better than you, right? So this pattern typically becomes very interesting for marketing, right? Because yes. If I want to sell somebody something, how I know that that particular person is interested or not? So the big data started helping in that. So these data points, when we got data points, then we have realized the reactions. You, as a human being, you react with your intelligence. So what you will react in what situation, those also got recorded. So when this records piled up, then we understood, okay, there are very predictive patterns of a particular human being, that not only human being, in everything. So when we started developing technology on that, so actually it is the big data companies who developed this technology. Now that is where we are calling it a disruption. What had happened till Industrial Revolution 3, technology has moved from lab to the market. Right? We have invented something in the lab and the technology has gone to the market. But this is where there is no lab. The cloud is the lab and the technology has already been used. Means practically, if you ask me, for last at least 10-12 years, 2012, I will tell that, probably the start of big scale industrial revolution of 4. So for last 13 years, we are teaching in the inside classroom industrial revolution 3 top techniques, and what is being used in the market is 4. So there comes a huge gap in terms of skills of what industry expects and what the student has. Because this time the technology came from market to us, we are saying it's a disruption. Because as an academician, we are very egoistic. We think, no, we should only invent and we should send it to the market. But now the market has given us the technology back. So we have to do some reverse engineering and train our students. So that is why we are calling it digital disruption. But I'm very sure to say that it is not that big a thing that we should worry about. So it is net to net, it is not going to impact employability negatively at all.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that. So my next question is, do you think current management curriculum is like keeping pace with the technology, the speed of this digital change which is currently going on? As you have said, the 4th movement is, yes.
See, most of the sensible management colleges, yes, they have already included. Like for example, if you look at FMS also in SSU University, now AI, ML, data science, R, Python are core courses. Now core courses means every student has to do it. And today you have to do it because adaptability is the main factor. And why it is important, because there is another interesting statistics I can give you. Industrial Revolution 1 lasted for 99 years. From 1 to 2, it took us 99 years. 2 to 3, it took us 64 years. 3 to 4, it took us 37 years.
So the time period is always getting shortened.
Yes, you got it right. The time lag is going down. So it is very well expected that maybe in another 10 years, we may hit 5.
Okay.
So that is where the curriculum, if you only take Industrial Revolution 4 curriculum and start teaching students now, I don't think that will be that relevant, because by the time they pass out, you may have something else.
5 may have hit the market.
Right. So
yes,
you have to have an adaptive education system. Like you have to make your student an open source code kind of a thing. He or she should be adaptable enough to understand the change, unlearn and learn quickly.
yes.
So that is what curriculum, most of the colleges are doing it, and days are not far who will change themselves and revolutionize or make relevant curriculum will survive, and who won't do will perish. So that's happening in the market.
Okay, sir. So, like as you have said, from the leadership perspective and understanding the employment of today's youth, basically, my next question is, do you think machines and AI are replacing the jobs somehow? We have seen so many ads here and there. So do you think, is that like a thing right now?
My reply to will that be people who lives in fool's paradise will say that. See, you have not seen those days in early 90s or mid 90s when computers kept coming in. So I was a young kid that time, a young college going guy. And all the banks were doing strikes, all the bank employees that, computers will replace us. So you cannot install computers in the bank. So this is a very, it's a very narrow understanding. If you are looking at a point, looking at a very narrow angle to a particular technology, then you only say like that. It has been proved that always technical changes have brought in more employment, has opened new floodgates. Like we were afraid as a human race when computer came in, but IT industry in itself is an industry now. Right? So likewise AI, I was reading a report yesterday only. It was a Global Employability Report 2025, where it is saying that yes, AI will replace 90 million jobs.
Okay.
Right?
That's a huge number.
That's the first line.
Okay.
At the same time, AI will create 180 million jobs.
That's more than that.
So,
Yes.
at one point, it will take certain jobs, but it is creating double the job than that. So, what is important now is to adapt to skill, right? Now, the market is of two kinds. You are using AI or AI is using you. Right? If you look at youngsters
Yes.
today, like the kind of digital toxification they have, you take the phone out from them there and they become nervous and paranoid. So, in that case, AI is using them. So, if AI is using you, you are useless. Your requirement will not be there in the market. But if you know smartly how to use AI, then you are there. And you know this, I see in YouTube nowadays, a lot of these guys coming and telling, do AI course in 99 rupees, then I am a ChatGPT expert and I earn 50 lakhs. All those bluffs are, these are all bluffs, right? There is nothing to learn in AI. Right? Anybody having sensible English can happily use AI properly. So it is not that it is going to replace jobs, it will change the way we are doing things. So if we are ready to adapt that change, we will survive. For example, when I started my career as a professional, knowing computer, if you know how to operate a computer was an advantage. Right? Only first question, do you know how to operate a computer? The first thing the interviewer asks. Right? Because a group was there, no, why computer required? We are happy with our pen and paper, why should we go there? But most of the companies were using computers for the faster results. So people who were adaptive, who learned that skill, they survived and a lot of them perished. Right?
Those who have not learned, they have.
So same happens in IT industry. See, the languages used, over the period of time changes. Now the IT professional, if he does not equip himself or herself with the new skills coming in, then he will perish.
Yes.
Right? The same has now happened with every job, if you ask me. It will happen to a medical science, it will happen to an engineer, it will happen to a management guy, it will happen to everybody. So the adoption of technology, if you have, you will survive. If you don't have adoption of technology, you won't survive. So that will be my answer to your question.
Okay, sir. So, with adaptation to the technologies, there will be, as you have said, 108 million jobs which will be created from 180 million jobs which will be created because of this new technology.
So if you look at statistics, for every one job which AI is replacing, the same AI is creating another 2 jobs.
Yes.
Right, so that's the statistics.
Yes. So as you have said so, my next question is, they will be creating new roles, emerging roles will be created by the AI itself. So which emerging roles or skills do you believe every management student should be focusing on today in today's world?
It's not only because management student, I will answer it for all the students or for all the humanity. To understand this technical transformation, we first need to understand why we are developing technology. Right? We are having ample technology, we are happily living with that. Why again we are developing technology? So for that, you have to have a cross-sectional analysis. Right? You don't have to think like a healthcare professional, I don't have to think like a management professional. We have to join. Now what happens, if you take the average IQ of every human being walking on the earth today and compare it with average IQ of a person walking 100 years before on the earth, then you will be termed as a genius. So that's how brain is evolving. So it is calculated by 2050, the average IQ of a person walking on the earth will be same as of Einstein.
That's an interesting fact.
Yeah, it's a nature's report. It's not my report. I'm not a healthcare professional. So it's a nature's report because we're evolving. There is a flip side of that also, that post this
evolvement.
This Android phones and over-engagement to over-exposure to technology, in certain classes, the brain size has started shrinking also. But it's a natural growth if the brain size, the way it grows. Now, if you compare, the size of your brain is definitely bigger than your grandmother's brain. There is no doubt about it.
Yes.
Right. So, but the problem here is 95 to 98% of the jobs you do every day is repetitive. You do the same thing again and again. And hardly you have a 1 to 2% creative space. That is why technical progression is so less. Now, why now technical progression is so high? You have somebody like Musk, you have somebody like Jobs who are spending trillions in future technology. So that's why technology is coming up. Earlier, the scope was not there. So the purpose of developing technology is whatever the repetitive work, if I can automate it, then it will be faster. Simple example is a car or a vehicle. Right? You are staying at 5 kilometers from here, for example. Every day, if you don't have a vehicle, you walk in and you walk out. It will be at least 1.5 hours, 1 hour minimum, 5 to 6 kilometers an hour.
Yes.
A human being can walk. So 1 hour you could have walked and you could have gone back. Now technology gave you a scooty or a car. What happened? You saved
time.
Instead of 1 hour, you are in 10 minutes here. So the rest 15 minutes is free for you. So that's your productive time increased by 15 minutes. So likewise, by the use of technology, if we automate the repetitive things, then the calculation, what we are trying to have is, sorry, not me, we means as humankind we want to have is, if you can squeeze this 98% to say 60% or 70% and 30% creative with every human being, the world will be much better place. Right? So that's why technology will evolve. It will keep evolving. So while technology will evolve, now what I told you, the repetitive things will go out. So the people who are stuck to a repetitive or a monotonous routine life,
yes,
they will be obsolete. People who are creative will survive, right? A nurse or a doctor won't have any problem, right? Because they will adapt to the technology, and the impact of technology to them is too limited. It is enabling. So they will learn it. Today, earlier every doctor used to do the cataract operation differently. Now they are just putting the machine and doing it. So that they will adapt because they are intelligent people. They know how to adapt. You have hospitals which are already using robotics for surgery. Right? So the creative space, the more the creative you are, you will survive. The more monotonous you are, you think, no, I will only do this, you will not exist. Whether it's a government job or a private job. So similarly in management, the silo like I will be a marketing professional, I will be HR professional, I will be a finance, but these are gone are those days. Right? First of all, management is something, if you are a good manager, you are a wealth creator. Right? You should know how to make 2 rupees into 4. Now to do that, today everything you do, you cannot do marketing without technology, you cannot run finance without technology, you cannot do HR without technology, you cannot do anything without technology. Manufacturing is already using technology to a very huge extent. So for the management education, it's the same thing applies. So it's a universal application. It applies to doctors, engineers, managers, civil servants, everybody. Learn how to leverage that technology to do your job faster so that you are more productive. That's it.
More free time for yourself,
more
for
productive.
Creative space.
Yes.
Okay.
So that you devise new things to make life more easy.
All right. So moving on to the next question. Which industries do you believe are most vulnerable to this digital disruption, and why?
Service industry is most vulnerable to digital disruption. If you see nowadays, whatever telemarketing calls you are receiving, these are all AI calls.
Yes.
You hardly are getting any human calls. So, because as I said, any repetitive work, where it is a routine work. For example, if you go to a hotel, a restaurant and eat, simple thing, somebody will come, take your order, go place it, bring it. That very well a robot can do.
And they are doing it.
It's already.
Yes.
You already have restaurants which are completely run by robots.
Definitely, yes.
Right. So, as I said, any work which is mechanical and repetitive, which doesn't apply brain, will not survive. And any work where human brain or human intelligence is required, that will survive. Right. We have already seen artificial intelligence is not able to compete the natural intelligence. That's why now we are talking about quantum computing, that how to decode the human brain as a whole. That I don't think is going to happen to 100%. It will happen to still 70, 80, 90% it will happen. But that 10%, say for example, why we want to send a human to Mars? We have already sent a robot.
Yes.
But why you want to send a human? Because robot will execute only pre-designed tasks or pre-fed tasks. But human being's brain is unlimited. Right? It says to what situation a human will completely react differently. The same human, if you look at your life also, to a similar problem, today you will react differently, but day after tomorrow you may react differently. So that human intrinsic strength can never be built. So if you count on that strength and build it up, make it more and more sharp, you will survive.
Okay, sir. To this question only, can you give examples of any companies or industries that have successfully adapted to the digital disruption while
Toyota.
protecting jobs and...
The first thing come to my mind will be Toyota. Toyota in India, if you look at their manufacturing plant in Bangalore, can you guess that how much time they must be taking to assemble one car, a Innova or a Fortuner? Because you have to wait for 2 to 3 months to get that,
Yes.
right? So imagine how much time they must be taking to assemble it.
Around 2.5 months. If it is 3 months, then I will expect that
137 seconds.
That's quite less.
Yes, 137 seconds to be precise. And the line is so designed, first will be Innova, second will be Innova, third will be a Fortuner. Right? And it is completely no human intervention. If you want to see that, you will just stand in a platform and you will see the hard press tools to the vehicle. It comes out automatically in 137 seconds. And the fault detection is also automatic.
Okay.
Right? If there is a fault bay. So the crane will put the car and put in the fault bay. And see the technical adaptation. As long as there are 8 cars in the fault bay, no one is worried. The robots will take care of it. The moment there is a 9th car in the bay, then the human rushes. That means they have found a problem for which the algorithm is not there.
That is why the robot is unable to manage.
Yes, so it is the pre-fed, it is not a pre-fed problem, it's a new problem. So the engineer goes, understands it, fixes it, then prepares an algorithm and does it.
Puts it in the robot.
So if you really want to understand the adaptation to technology, I have seen that factory, I have seen those manufacturing lines, Toyota. And Tata has recently adopted what I have heard, I have not seen. But yes, Tata being Tata, they must have. So there are companies. So the best example, if you ask me, anyone want to have a case study and understand how digital transformation has been adapted, purposefully and successfully, Toyota is the example.
The best example.
The best example, globally.
Okay, so that is something new which we have heard right now. So next, moving on. So we all tend to talk about future, think about the future mostly. So my next question to you is, how should educational systems, companies and the government itself should evolve to prepare the students for the job market because of this disruption and AI? So better suited for this field.
You have to be more practical. For example, there are 2 things. Currently, the Facebook founder told, who are the data byrons, you can say, that if you ask somebody what subject to teach or what subject to learn, he said, still I will prefer to pursue a mathematics graduation. So pure science. So one thing we have to understand, the essence of pure science will never go. So that conceptual clarity of basic subjects are to be there. Now, what will happen? What has changed? Application. Right? So up to Industrial Revolution 3, the application was something else. Now the application is something else. So what will happen? Any application, you have to teach them practically. Any concept, you will teach them in the classroom conceptually. Any practical thing, you have to treat them practically. And there are ample exposure in the market, typically in management education. Today, if I tell them to create a risk management model inside the classroom or prepare a budget inside the classroom, it doesn't help. Because things have changed. What is written in the book, the market has gone 10 times beyond that. So rather than that, if I send them to a startup and say that, okay, work with them, see their financial health, and for their funding, prepare a plan. Right? So industry collaborative courses. So because I have an industry exposure, so what my friends in industry tell me now is, days are not far when there will be HTD, hire, train and deploy. that the industry will come and tell you, okay, I've hired this many people, they are fine, but these are the skills they lack. Now I have the skill, but I cannot impart because I am a business house, you are an educational house, you impart, train them and send it to me. So the future is going to be like that, hire, train and deploy. Like if you look at our 2 recent industry collaborated projects in FMS, one is with Deloitte for FinTech. Why? Because FinTech, we are not getting people.
Yes.
And FinTech is how robust we all know. We all are using it day in and day out. Then we have one with Gati for a logistics, supply chain logistics, because that's again another thing. Supply chain logistics, now the more the technology will evolve, the more sophisticated supply chain logistics will happen. Right, so why they are coming now? Both are big players. Deloitte is a big player. He's a big four. Gati is one of the largest logistics company in the country. But they are also not able to find people with right skills. And they have the modules to give them the skills. So they're just coming to us, okay, let's train together so that I get my manpower. So
I'll also get my proper
yes.
person, and you'll also deal like.
So this practical learning, blended learning we say it, and industry collaborated learning. This is the future of as far as management education.
So like this you have said from the college aspect. How about the government?
See, government is also adapting to changes, right? Government is into what? Government is into both. Capital economy and welfare economy also. Now today if you look at government is now shrinking. The current Prime Minister's ethos of minimum government, maximum governance. What does it mean? Only in essential areas will be there. Non-essential areas we will outsource. I will give you 2 major examples. When I was a college student, entire electricity supply of this state was a government department. Odisha State Electricity Board. Today, it is Tata Power.
Yes, it's taken by Tata, yes.
Right? The entire passport issuance verification process was a Government of India office where Ministry of External Affairs staff used to be there. It will be manned with those staff and you will go and apply. Today, it's Tata. It is TCS which is issuing your passport. The government is going that way. Now, it may sound harsh to people who are aspiring government jobs. So down the line, maybe the government jobs will shrink. Why shrink? Because most of the things they are doing is repetitive. So they will also start using technology, and by using of technology, they will start outsourcing things. So you will see leaner government coming to the future. The way we are going, whichever political party comes, irrespective of any political party, you will have leaner government departments, leaner and stricter. Right, earlier you used to have a traffic havaldar or an inspector to stand and fine you for helmet. Right, the collection was lesser actually. Today you have a camera, AI-enabled camera. It detects and sends a challan automatically and government gets the money. So government is also going to adapt technology very fast. So if you want to do a government job also, you need to understand technology.
It is very much required.
And for government, adapting to technology is easier. See, what is the problem with government is the decision making cycle is higher. But the day government decides, government doesn't have any resource issues. The government, like, why they have all on a sudden decided and outsourced the entire passport thing to TCS? Because they realized we are wasting our resources. Why we waste money here? Outsource it to them, they will do it more efficiently and more economically. So this is how government is going. So technical impact in government will also be high, and if you want a government job also, you have to be technically savvy.
Alright sir, that was something which is again new and challenging. If somebody is pursuing for government jobs, please make sure that you are AI enabled, technologically savvy mostly. So next question to you is, what strategic partnerships can business schools build to stay ahead of the digital disruption?
First of all, there are two kinds of partnership they should do. One is research collaborations with different institutes, typically with IOEs, because education is all about collaboration. Education is never about competition. So if some institute is doing some research better than us, let us collaborate with them. And today, thanks to Government of India, that a lot of IOEs like IITs and IIMs have opened their gates for other institutes to collaborate. Even they are issuing grants to other institutes and universities to do research with them. So every institute who wants to grow should look towards that. Collaborate with people, collaborate with different higher educational institutes, jointly develop the curriculum. That's the first requirement. Next is collaborate with the industry. Still there are areas where there are millions of vacancies, but people don't have people who knows that. Right? I remember 3-4 years back, Toyota was looking for a digital transformation head. They were ready to pay anything, but they were not getting it. Right? So that gap is there. So the problem in our society is the herd mentality. We look at someone else and decide our fate.
Head down and just move with
my cousin did that and he's successful, so I should do that. Or my friend did this, so I should do this. So we are a herd kind of a race. We go with a herd. But we need to understand that every human being is unique. Right? You have a unique brain, and the creator has given that message to you in the form of your face, because every face is unique. Right? Otherwise, if I am manufacturing a product, I will prefer to manufacture a standard product. No. Why I will have a variety of products? That too, million and trillion varieties of product. Why should I have? Right? Identification, not a problem. I could have put a number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the count is also not required. So the nature, the creator is giving you that you are exceptional. So try to understand where your skills are. Build on your skills. Everybody cannot do everything. Build on your skills and collaborate to cover your weakness. So that's how the future is.
That's how we'll develop.
That's how we'll develop.
Yes. So next question to you is, what does the future of leadership look like in an AI-driven economy, and how we should train the tomorrow's CEOs and managers for the world?
Leadership will not change much, because leadership is not about ruling or giving orders. Leadership is all about taking people along with you, and leadership is all about transparency. Leadership is all about responsibility. So I don't think the definition of leadership is going to change because of technical intervention. And this over-obsession with AI also has to end, because AI is just a tool which is currently happening. And I don't think there is a more authenticated person than Nandan Nilekani to talk about AI. And if you go to YouTube, you'll find a beautiful 26-minute speech of him busting the myth of AI. So we have this, the jargon using is a fascination in our society. So AI is just one of the tools which Industry 4.0 is using. And currently we are talking about prompt engineering. Currently we are talking about quantum computing. And why quantum computing came in, right? It is said that maybe by 2027 we'll have our first quantum computer. So quantum computer is a step ahead than AI.
Yes.
Right? From AI, we moved to generative AI to match the natural intelligence, but we couldn't. So now we are trying with quantum computing to match with natural intelligence. So this journey will go on. Right? Like 4 or 5 years back, data analytics was a big thing. Today, you don't need anybody to do data analytics. There are tools, AI tools, you put the data analytics, happens automatically. So you don't need somebody. So by saying that, what I mean to say is, the candidates or people who are looking for employment should understand that this particular tool today may give you a job, but it can make you obsolete in 1 year also. So what is required is to have an open brain, open mind. That today, fine, today this tool is working, I will have this tool, learn this tool and have a job. But simultaneously, I will keep learning that what changes are happening in the market. I will not be complacent, and whatever technology is changing, I will adapt to it.
That move with the change.
Yes, go with the wind, and the wind will be faster. Now, I always say this generation that you are lucky in one sense and you are unlucky in one sense. Because see, in our generation, like say, I was born in 70s. So I was born in, say, Industrial Revolution, second when it was ending. Right? So I have seen only 3 Industrial Revolution in my life, or may will see one more, max. But they will see probably multiple technical changes. I have seen a phone where you will pick up with the manual exchange and the guy will say number please, and you will give a number and then talk. And with all probability, the man is listening what you are talking.
Yes.
Right? From there to iPhone, we have seen in how many years? Say 50 years? But you will see more change. in terms of frequency, your generation will see more change in 5 years. So the adaptability is a problem. And because in our generation we came from scratch, to adapt the technology, we had the time and we became adaptable. But because the present generation comes with a certain digital bandwidth already, they cannot visualize certain things.
It's difficult for them.
For them. So if you have to be flexible. There is a very famous say that intelligent people are flexible, idiots are stubborn. Right? So if you want to survive in this market today, you have to be intelligent. That's it.
Yes. So that is quite very interesting, actually, to be very honest. So next question to you is, do you believe traditional hierarchical structures in companies that will survive, or there will be a direct flow? Like we are moving towards more fluidity, tech-enabled leadership models. Like,
see, it will differ from this kind of business. In manufacturing kind of industry, that hierarchy will remain because it is people oriented. Right? I may have automated my assembly floor, but I still need people when I am manufacturing. So I don't see much of a change in terms of manufacturing. But services, yes, things have changed. For example, why in metro cities like Bangalore or Bombay the real estate prices are falling now? Because COVID has given them a very good, lesson. That guy can sit at his home, at his or her home, and give the same work to me or more productivity to me. So why I have to waste office space for that?
Yes, work from home has come.
And today, if you see in India, many IT companies have maximum 35% available in the office physically. 2/3 of the people are working from home, and they are getting more productivity. So obviously, the order has changed. Right? So
companies are asking also, so if you can work from home, that's fine with them.
Because if I hire the guy and bring him to my office, I have to give a table, a chair. I have expenses. So why I will hire and have such a big house?
By furniture, electricity, everything.
So that will change. That will change. There will be certain changes. It will be more fluid. For example, I know even here locally in Cuttack and Bhubaneswar, there are professionals who earlier used to work in companies like ENY at a certain salary, but now they have come. They are working from home for some company abroad, and they are earning more salary than what they were earning staying in outstation place. So yes, it will be more fluid. The future is you will be hired for your skill, not for your degree. You have to be very clear about it. So, and at different point of time, different kind of skills will be required. So if you are adaptable and you are adapting to the skills, you will be relevant. If not, you will be irrelevant.
Okay, so soft skills and hard skills both are basically important as of now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So let me just ask you my next question in a very personal point of view. So how can professionals future-proof their careers in an age of constant digital damage?
First, they have to come out of the fear and stop getting carried away by the narratives.
Fear about not exploring further.
That, as I told you, like when computers came, it will take job. Now AI is coming, it will take job. Please understand, no technology is here to replace you. The technology is here to assist you. Now, if you are not ready to get that assistance, then you will
become obsolete. Yes.
Right? I remember my mother learning computer at the age of 60 after retirement.
Because it was needed.
Because she realized, okay, if I don't use it now, then a lot of things I cannot do. Right? So, you have to be that adaptable. What skills you have today, tomorrow something else may work. For example, for data interpretation, we were using SPSS till some time back.
Yes.
Right?
22 or 23 minutes.
Right. But now we have Power BI, Tableau, which is more powerful than that. So today, who will be more relevant? A guy who can use data visualization tool like Tableau, Power BI, or SPSS?
Power BI, of course.
So you gave the answer. So the tools will improve, the techniques will improve. As a professional, please, whatever I will teach in the classroom to you, maybe, for the first semester I start something, by the time they go to fourth semester, that thing may have become obsolete.
Yes.
Right? So you have to live with it. And so what happens is that is where the conceptual clarity helps. If conceptually I understand how technology moves, then I will adapt to the technology. If conceptually I don't understand it, then I will not adapt to the technology. So sharpening the brain is
a necessity right now.
exactly.
All
You
right.
have to be intelligent, no choice.
Okay, so like we have come to the end of the session, and my very last question to you is, sir, if you had the power to redesign business education from scratch for the 2030s, let's say, so what would you keep and what would you radically change?
No, I have the power and I have done it for FMS, so my course structure shows it. What I will eliminate, the regular copies what we have done from the Western education system. And technology, obviously, the emerging technology will be the part of the course. Apart from that, the Indian knowledge system should be a part of the course. Now, we are over obsessed with the Western education system, right? And maybe because of the colonization for so many 100 years.
200 years.
200 years of British, and then before that, say 300, 400 years of Mughal. And invaders, so almost 700 years of colonization ruled by outer space. We may have, or I don't know, we may have learned to look outside. But look at the present situation. What are the developed countries in the world, so-called developed countries are doing in the world? Fighting with each other, bombing each other.
Unnecessarily.
Right? And we have a president of a country who is doing insider trading with the country policies itself. Right? So there is nothing great about the Western education system. The only great thing about that is the systematic approach. Otherwise, in Western education system, it is profit first. But Indian ethos is people first. Look at Tata.
Yes.
Right? Tata has not accumulated their wealth. How many people know that 85% of what they earn, they donate? Right? Had they been accumulated, they would have kept Elon Musk as employee.
Yes.
Right? But they don't believe in that. Look at the welfare work Tata is doing across, not only India, across the globe.
Across the world, yes.
There was an article which was saying that the day Tata stops working, at least 56 countries will collapse globally.
That's huge.
That's how huge the company is. So we are the Tata way, right? We are a race where empathy is in our gene, but we are not cultivating it in our education system. So what is happening, there is a dichotomy. The guy is coming from a very cohesive and very good society where empathy and everything is being taught, but the education system has been distorted to an extent where he is being taught materialism. How much salary, which job, how much money, what lifestyle, which car. That's not what life is in Indian ethos. Right? So if you bring in Indian ethos, it will bring in more empathy. Right? And there are a lot of even Western intellectuals who are saying this, that why India is a power today. India is a power today because of our genetic advantage. So to bring that genetic advantage, I have brought in Indian knowledge system in our course. So we almost have apart from 30, so the NEP approves certain percentage of, so 6 credits in every semester. So 24 credits out of 120 credits is Indian knowledge system. Then we have blended technology with it, and then we have brought in industry collaboration. So if you ask me, that is how I have designed, and anyone can go through our course structure and then realize we have made in multiple internships, because a single internship doesn't solve a purpose. We have a social entrepreneur internship where they understand the society, work with an NGO, do some social welfare. We have with a startup so that understand the 360 degree of a business. Then we have one with we a corporate house to understand the systemic way of work. And now even we are thinking of including another internship of Seva, that every student will be, it will be mandatory for them to go to any of our social welfare wing. We have so many in AOL, and then work there for a month. So that makes a better human being. So holistic development is what is required today. That is what an institution should look at.
All right, sir. I'm very intrigued with the conversation. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll meet on the next session with another expert. Thank you.